Thank you very much, Dwight. It's wonderful to be with you. I'm going to do an experiment here, just for the sake of doing the experiment. Can you still hear me? Okay?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do that then, because when I can do it, it's just fun to be in a venue that has such good acoustics that you can actually do it with your natural voice. There's just something special about it. So that's part of my lose. So it's great to be with you. It's great to have the turnout today. And I'm going to talk about this book, my 8th book that I did a year ago or so, called Folks, This Ain't Normal. And it grew out of all my writing, which I do a lot of speaking and traveling and talking around. And I got really concerned and frustrated about all these under 40s. I call anybody under 40 a very young person. Under 40s who actually thought we live in normal times. And couldn't imagine a time before TV dinners, or Velveeta cheese, or M&Ms, or microwaves, barcodes, product liability insurance. I mean, workman's comp, fair labor standards housing requirements for farm interns. I mean, a host of things that thought were normal. And we've grown up with the supermarket. I mean, the supermarket only came since 1946. In 1946, 50% of all the vegetables and produce in America were grown in backyard gardens. I mean, that's not that long ago. Okay? There are people living today that lived in 1946. And so, it really concerns me when I see so many people who are far more passionately informed and interested in the latest Hollywood belly button piercing and celebrity culture than they are what's going to become flesh of their flesh and bone of their bones at 6 o'clock. That scares me. That we're going to be the first civilization that is so clever and so technologically advanced that we're going to go off into a Star Trek future and be able to finally extricate ourselves from that ecological umbilical. That nasty requirement that we actually are beholden and dependent on air, soil, and water. Oh, no, we don't have to deal with that. We just make a breakfast pill, out of eucalyptus leaves grown in, hydroponic ammonia mesh. and we just fabricate this out of thin air, and we're gonna go off into this fantasy world. And it really struck me just how profoundly disconnected we are in our culture. I mean, when we get reported to 911 because our herd of cows at 4 o'clock in the afternoon waiting to move into the next paddock, because we move every day to a new pasture paddock, the way nature moves, animals. Nature uses lions and flies, and we use electric fence, okay? And so we're moving them every day at 4 o'clock, so here's, 300, 400 head, gathered up at the gate, because they move every day at 4 o'clock, and, cows are very smart. They have a huge 3-inch nerve that goes from their brain to, remember, they have 4 stomachs. You think you get hungry, you think, man, 4 stomachs, they all get hungry, so a cow has this great big 3-inch nerve from their brain to their stomach that says, I'm hungry. So they really, when you call them every day at 4 o'clock to, a new salad bar, to a bovine bowl of Breyer's ice cream, they get really used to, being there ready to go. And so a lady drives by, probably some country club, upper class, been to the, beauty saloon and, all plopped up and whatever. And, on her way to probably some, garden club or Fifi dog show or whatever, and calls 911 and reports for animal abuse because this herd of cows is all glummed up at this gate, and that looks like a crowd, and crowds are uncomfortable. They call them a herd. They like to be together.
Yes.
But we're so profoundly disconnected. When I started on this book, my book developer called me from New York after the very first teaser. She said, "You're talking about hay and straw as if there's a difference." You know, the whole terminology that everybody knew 100 years ago. You know, a pig, a sow, pharaohs, a rabbit, kindles, a cow, calves, a sheep, lamb. That's never happened before. And it's profound to me, you know, when you write books, especially, you know, as many how-to books as I have for farmers. I'm writing a lot more broader cultural books now, but some of the original ones, you know, You Can Farm, I mean, it really struck me that, good grief, I'd have twice as many potential customers if instead of writing a book about how to be a successful farmer, if I wrote a book about how, you know, you can be a successful inmate. And there are many people now actually wondering, can a civilization this profoundly disconnected from its womb, from its nest, can it survive? So that got me to thinking. And then too, you know, we live in very interesting days. You know, there are some people that, again, that think that we're just, that there is so much infinite water, air, soil, you know, cadmium, iron, oil, whatever out there, that it's inexhaustible. Come on, you know. It's inexhaustible. And now we have, you know, the theory of peak oil. We have escalating oil prices. So in the last couple months, you know, we have escalating disease problems. We have, you know, how many people think that the U.S. economy is just so profoundly stable that nothing could possibly shake it for 20 years? You know, I just got a call from I've gotten about 3 calls actually in the last little bit from people in the New York, you know, financial world that call me and ask me to find them a farm to buy so when everything collapses, they've got a place to run to. So there's this, so here's the deal. There's a sense that rather than being ultimately immune to nature's profit and loss statement, that perhaps there are things coming together. There's a confluence of things coming together, from economies to emotion, to nutrient deficiency, to soil loss, to energy costs, to wellness issues. There are a confluence that indicate that we are, rather than being so grounded and anchored on this stable, impregnable base, we are actually teetering on the point of a precarious precipice. That we should maybe look at what are the patterns. When we look through history and we say, what has glued, preserved, stabilized civilizations throughout human history? What is nature's P&L statement? What's the horse to bet on? What are those factors and patterns that have created civilizational stability and ecological resiliency, that have built soil, freshened the water, increased hydrologic cycles, stimulated carbon cycling? You know, what are those patterns? Because the chances are that wherever we are, the chances are that the future will require an appreciation and an adaptation and a humble acceptance of those patterns more than some of the patterns that we have today.